I usually start a painting with the eyes. That's not exactly what they teach you in art school, but for me, the magic of the whole process is when the painting can start to look back at me. Somebody asked me, well, why do you paint portraits in 2017? Because they're interesting people to paint in 2017. Painting is my way of trying to understand the world. That's what I've always done. And I am fascinated by people.
My name is Andrea Monroe. My hair is my war paint. It's my armor. It's a shield. It's a mask sometimes.
When I do a portrait, I want to try to understand what we have in common, what our differences are. I'm really trying to tap into some element of their story that I can relate to.
For my generation, you get comfortable with yourself through your hair in part, or you don't. You know, it's one or the other.
When I'm working on a painting, I'm thinking about everything that that person shared with me. I always take notes. I have photos of the person all around, and I just want to really try to capture something about who they are, what they have maybe gone through, what they've overcome. Tell their story.
I like to draw as a kid, you know, like 7, 8, 9, 10. I always like to draw abstract things, but also fashion, like doing collage. Big hair and different kinds of hairstyles were in the late 60s and 70s. And so I know at an early age, even though my mother was doing my hair, I like to draw hairstyles or put hairstyles on my paper doll. And then as soon as, you know, we were old enough to do our own hair, I liked coming up with different styles. And then once I went natural, it was even more fun to be creative because natural black hair is very sculptable. I realized that hair was an important part of my image probably by 7. In 7, this would be 1967, and so to get straight hair, it was straightened with a straightening comb. And then maybe by 8, I was getting like a perm. But so I learned really early on that you're supposed to have straight hair. At that age, it wasn't that fun to get your hair straightened. It was hot, especially if it was like a straightening comb. And then when the perms came in the late 60s, the chemicals were so harsh that they just smelled really bad and they kind of could take off the top layer of your skin. And so at a really young age, I realized like hair was something that you had to tame and control and go through all kinds of torture for it. But also like in the late 60s, 70s, afros came in and, you know, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. You know, Farrah Fawcett's hair, like the feathers like fly around, but my hair did not. One of my friends, in terms of a white circle of white girlfriends, would make some comment about my hair not being just right. And so I think it was 8th grade, 9th grade, I cut all my hair off and had a really short afro. Like imagine it like sort of like just down to here. Yeah, and that was just really freeing. Boys/men like hanging hair, as a friend of mine likes to say, hair that hangs and swings. And so when you cut your hair short, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, there's a certain freedom in that too, of knowing that like, okay, well, you're not getting picked for that. And then I went to West Africa and started braiding my hair. And then when I came back to the States, I don't think my hair was ever straightened again. There's at least a generation of women who don't know what their natural hair feels like coming out of their head because it's straightened as young as like 4. And that's pretty shocking to me that, you know, you could walk around as a human being and there's something that comes out of you that you don't even know what it really feels like. I can think of lots of instances where either I had to talk myself through and tell myself I'm fine even though my hair is not acting right, to getting to the other side of that and saying, you know, my hair's not acting right and that's interesting, or that's a new style. Clothing is costume, in my opinion, and hairstyles. And so once you really appreciate who you are, I found then you can like change up all the time. You're just putting it on as costume. It's not who you really are. And there's a lot of fun and a lot of freedom in that. I love my hair.
We live in a very impermanent time. We share photos one day, the next day they're just forgotten. There's something about putting oil paint on a canvas and knowing that it will be there 1,000 years from now that I love.